So with that being done, that leads us into the next step of the business buying process, which is negotiation and deal structuring. Now, at this point, we have identified a business that meets our investment criteria. We've made initial contact with the seller and we've done a high-level screening of the business, which includes a rough business valuation. Now we want to shift the focus to negotiation and deal structuring. Now, the first thing I'm going to say with this is that I always look for a fair price. This is not about knocking people down and trying to get something for nothing. We want to pay a fair value for a business. But also, deal structure is more important to me than valuation. How is the money, how is the purchase price being paid? That is of far more importance to me than the actual price. But the price can't be unrealistic. However, valuation is normally more important to the seller than the deal structure. So can you see the difference? As buyers, we're interested in how the deal is being structured, so how the purchase price is being paid, whereas the seller is less interested in how it's being paid and more interested in the headline number that they're getting. So always remember, it's ultimately about what someone is willing to pay for a business and what a seller is willing to sell their business for. That is the crux of business valuation. Now, there are 15 ways to structure a deal, and each way is like a tool in the toolbox. Our job is to bring out the different tools until we get the ones that work for both you and the seller. Now, common tools that we use when buying a business are things like cash up front, but I will say that it doesn't have to be your cash up front. It's a key difference there. Other methods, so other tools, is using deferred down payments. So this is where we agree a upfront payment with a seller, but rather than pay it on day one, we slightly push it down the line. It could be 30 days, 60 days, but at the most around 90 days. A deferred down payment. This is something that I use a lot in my deals because I find it's the best of both worlds. The sellers are still getting money up front, albeit a little bit late, but for us, it gives us a bit more time to be able to finance the acquisition through the business that we're buying. We also have deferred down payments. So this is like a long-term loan that the seller gives you. So you pay the seller the purchase price or part of the purchase price over a longer period of time. This could be 12 months, could be 24, could be 36 or even longer. We also have earnouts. So earnouts are value that you pay the seller based on the performance of the business. I will say most sellers hate earnouts, and I'm actually in agreement with them. I don't particularly like them as well. We also have something called sweat equity. So this is where you take part ownership of a business based on the value that you can bring to the table. Now, this is very common and a really great tool for experienced professionals, people who have risen quite high up the corporate ladder, who want to go into buying businesses but may not want to buy all of the business, but they can still bring a lot of value to the table. Another tool that we have in our toolbox is the assumption of debt. So a lot of small businesses will have debt, and as part of the sales process, that debt will need to be cleared, which means the seller will need quite a substantial amount of money in most cases to be able to clear it. However, one way of moving around that for both you and the seller is that you quite simply assume the debt. But I will say is that you'll never personally assume the debt because the debt sits in the limited company, not with you personally. You're just assuming responsibility for paying that debt. So a deal will usually be a combination of components. For example, it could be some upfront payment or even a deferred down payment with a longer deferred payment and the assumption of debt. Each deal looks very different. The skill that we need to have is how we propose these deals to a seller and we move them forward until we reach a place of agreement. That is the real art of this and the art of a no money down deal. Now, this is a big topic, and I have a separate training called No Money Down that deep dives into the different deal structures and how to propose these no money down deals.